All right. Eretz Yisrael is the Holy Land. It says this is a Mishnah in Kalim. It's not just a saying in the world. It says there are 10 Kedushos. Eretz Yisrael is holier than other countries. So when you're living in Eretz Yisrael, you're not living in Argentina or Chile or Mexico or Canada or the United States. On Eretz Yisrael there are special mitzvahs, and God says, Ki li horetz, it belongs to me. So when you live in Eretz Yisrael, you have to realize that you're living here because Hashem promised it to Avraham, and it's called the palace of the king by the Ramban. And the need to do mitzvot here is different. It's not just because it's a personal obligation. The country is a holy country, and it demands the performance of mitzvahs. And we tend to forget this, and we who live here and people who visit here, they pretty much treat it like it's another place. And Hashem needs to remind us that after 2,000 years we came back here, and we can't live here like we live in other places. We have to be aware that we're closer to Him, and that there's a holiness here, and that makes things much more demanding. So every once in a while, when people get too relaxed and life becomes too ordinary, and we start feeling like we could be in Toronto or Washington, except it's all Jews, and here we speak Hebrew instead of English. So Hashem reminds us, and He reminds us by sending us a message that, not the army and not the mighty tzal and nothing helps here. You need Hashem's protection here, and when Hashem doesn't protect you, you're vulnerable and you're subject to attack. And you have to think about what it is you're supposed to be doing in Eretz Yisrael and how much it demands of a person, and you have to not take life for granted here. And if you look back in the history, also not just now, but also when we occupied Eretz Yisrael, which is written in great length in Nach, you'll see that there were never long periods of peace here. Hashem was always sending reminders for people to tighten up and remember we're Jews and we have an obligation. We're descendants of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. We're not like other people. This is not like other country. It's a holy country, and we have to treat it differently. And these reminders come when Hashem judges. It's time to remind us because we've forgotten. And they don't last long, they pass, right? And the idea of each one is to gather into yourself the message that Hashem is telling me something. This isn't happening because Arabs hate Jews and anti-Semitism. That's true all over the world. But you're in Israel, and Hashem is reminding you, you're next to me. Pay attention to me. Think about me. Think about who you are. Think about Jewish history, what it means to be a Jew. And don't take things for granted, and realize that it's a privilege to live here.